Hello, I thought I'd do just a very quick recap of where we are and where I'm going on this trip here. So here we are. Let me give you a look at this. So this is the coast of France here, and I went across the English Channel, as you recall, up to Brighton, then Dover and Ramsgate, and then up along the east coast of the UK. Up Scarborough, Blythe, and then I went there directly to the Shetland Islands, way up here, north of the UK. It's actually part of Scotland, so and then over here to the Faroe Islands, which is technically a protectorate of part of Denmark. A little bit of exploring in the Faroe Islands. And then a trip down here to Stornoway in the Outer Hebrides, off the coast of Scotland. And then to Boysdale, which is here. And then I came across the Sea of Hebrides to where I am now, which is Tobermory. And the passage I'm going to do tomorrow is one that makes me a little bit nervous, and I'll show you why. So tomorrow I'll be leaving Tobermory and coming down the Strait of Mull, or the Sound of Mull, which is, sound meaning Strait of Mull, between these two islands here. And there's quite strong currents here, so you have to be quite careful, get your timing exactly right. Proceeding down the Firth of, Firth of Lorne. This is pronounced, Lewing is pronounced lung. And right here, the current is particularly strong. You can get tidal rips, is what they say, 7 or 8 knots through this space here. So you have to get your timing exactly right. Not only your timing right, you have to be very careful of the navigation so that you don't end up getting pushed over onto into dangerous shoals. Coming around the corner down here, around the corner and up into this marina that's pronounced Kruv. This unusual spelling there, but into a marina here, and that's where I'll spend tomorrow night. Before continuing down the Sound of Jura, past the Mull of Kintyre, made so famous by Paul McCartney, Kintyre Peninsula, and the Mull of Kintyre here, which is, I believe, Paul McCartney still has a home there, and that he made very famous in that song. Be very careful and very alert. So, a lot of people were telling me, "Oh, you'll love the scenery; it's absolutely beautiful." I think I'm going to be distracted by other things than the scenery tomorrow. For the first time through, you got to pay attention to the navigation and avoiding all the hazards in these narrow sounds, these narrow straits going through the rocks there. So we'll see how this all plays out tomorrow. Well, here I am underway. It's about 6 o'clock in the morning, heading up I'm heading actually down south down the Sound of Mull. And it feels, you can see the water is flat as a mirror. It feels very like, for those of you who have sailed Lac Léman or Geneva Lake in Switzerland, that's what it feels like, because I'm surrounded on both sides. Of course, this leads eventually out to the ocean. And although it looks very calm and flat right now, don't be deceived. This can be rip-roaring waves and tidal rips, and if you look on YouTube, you can see some of those stories there. I'm supposed to get a bit of wind here in an hour or so, so I'm looking forward to that. So, underway. The speed over ground now is 10 knots. Very low power setting. And look at this guy. This guy's amazing. He's going upstream. Now there's a fighter. Harbor Master Kruv. This is the sailing vessel Isabel. Good afternoon.
Isabel, cruise Marina, receiving, over.
This Isabel is just outside the marina entrance, is a sailing vessel 12 meters by 4 meters with 2 meters of draft, and I'm looking for a berth for one night.
Isabel, if you want to go into Delta 36, that's Delta 36. If you go bow in, you will be port side 2. Over.
Roger that. Delta 36. I'll see if I can find it. Thank you much. Turning into Marina in the Hebrides. Gave me D36. Okay. A number of people have asked me to show my technique for getting underway. So I actually showed that in episode 19. If you watch that again, demonstrates that. But what I do, the first thing I do, to review it quickly, is I ease the lines until the bow fender can just touch the pontoon. Now you have to be careful. If the wind is blowing really hard, this can slide along. So I always undo the one that's going to be under tension, the bow line that's going to be under tension. I undo that one last, and that prevents the bow from sliding down the pontoon until I'm ready for it. So all the lines have been eased. I haven't even started the engine yet. I've prepared the boat, the sail's all ready to go. I took down the spray hood as I always do. And now I can start the engine and undo all of the lines. Now I've started the engine and I've turned the helm away. You can see I've turned the helm away from the finger, and put it in just in the neutral forward, the very lowest power setting forward, and that's going to hold me firm against the finger. Now if the wind's blowing hard, you have to add a little more power, and that'll still lock you in. And now I just undo the lines at my leisure. Now all lines are taken in, and the helm is turned away from the finger, so it's pressing the boat up forward and against the finger. I'm locked in. So now what I'll do is very gently put the helm to center, the rudder to center, and as soon as it hits the center spot, a firm burst of power to astern to give me way on as rapidly as possible. There's a bit of fog today, about 500, maybe 600 meters of visibility, which is okay. But I got my weapon, ready. Should need a rise. One prolonged blast, not to exceed duration of not to exceed 2 minutes. Okay, turning into Lowland Man's Bay on the Isle of Jura, where I will spend the night at anchor. Well, here I am in the protected anchorage on a very isolated part of the Isle of Jura. Beautiful house up there, but there is really nothing here. It's isolated is a good word. I had lots and lots of recommendations from friends who know the Hebrides quite well as to the ideal anchorages and places to go. What I don't think a lot of them appreciate is that when you're a solo sailor, you don't want to go to an isolated, vacant anchorage after a couple of days or even just one hard day at sea. You want to go to some place where you can easily get to shore. Obviously a marina is the easiest place, and where there's a restaurant and a pub and you can meet some people and have a beer and have a chat. You know, so isolated marinas, isolated anchorages, I don't do a lot of them. One other thing that I wanted to comment on as I make this whirlwind tour of the UK up to the Shetland Islands, over to the Faroe Islands, and now down into the Hebrides on my return trip home, is that on a trip like this you can never do justice to any of those places, because they really merit a great deal of exploration and time in them. And you know, if you're doing what I'm doing, you just don't have you don't have that luxury of time. So a mission like that I've been on here, to go around the UK as I've been doing, you really have to view that more as a reconnaissance mission, just to see, oh, that's a very interesting place, just so you can note the places that you want to come back to. You know, these Hebrides Islands are absolutely beautiful, certainly on this same scale as the Faroe Islands, and merit 3 or 4 weeks of sailing up and down all of the sounds next to the Mulls, and exploring the quiet areas and having a good time. So what I've done in no way does justice to the beauty of these places, but I have noted in my mind where it is that I want to come back, and someday I'll do that. So that will be dinner for one at a table for two. The real life existence of a solo sailor. But you can't beat the view. One thing I always do when I'm at anchor is to set the anchor watch alarm on my Vespa Marine. And I was in quite deep water, so I let out quite a bit of chain, so I set the distance at 50 meters, and if I go beyond 50 meters, the alarm rings. But it sure helps a little peace of mind at night. I still get up in the middle of the night and check this almost every hour. I just give it a quick glance, but it's a nice tool, and keeps you safe. I'm entering Port Ellen on the southern tip of Islay in the Hebrides, across from the Mull of Kintyre. Thanks very much. You're welcome. Thank you very much.